Hello, my name's Stuart. I'm a big 1980s athletics fan, mainly middle distance running, particularly British middle distance running. Well, 70s, 80s. I kind of lost interest in middle distance running, probably, to be honest with you, probably after the 1988, 89, 1990 maybe. Once EPO started appearing and all the records started tumbling, I kind of lost interest in middle distance running. So yeah, but let's go back to 1980. I was 16 years old. I'd watched Steve Ovett winning the 800 meters with surprised. I did expect Coe to win. Of course, he did run a very bad race, and Ovett ran pretty well, really. He ran an absolutely superb second lap, 50.5 seconds, I believe, and Coe had just lost too much ground and couldn't catch him. But so we were in a situation where Coe was expected to win the 800, but he didn't. He was incredibly dejected, obviously, and feeling incredibly miserable about the whole thing. His father really came down on him like a ton of bricks, in a way, quite rightly, because he did run such a... If you think about all the work that Peter Coe put into his son, he did run absolutely abysmally that day. It's just unbelievable. So there's some kind of justification for Peter Coe's anger, but Coe had no option really but to come back and win, because the thought of, 3-4 world records and then coming to Moscow and not coming back with a gold. I think, as Coe said, he hadn't come all the way to the Olympics to come away with no gold medal. He was really determined to win a gold medal, so he didn't win it in the 800, and most people didn't think he would win it in the 1500 because Steve Ovett had looked quite masterful really in that 800 meters, and it was probably assumed that he would be too tactically good for Coe in the 1500. And he was obviously in top form. There was no reason. I didn't believe that Coe would win the 1500. I think probably few people did believe that he would win. But let's have a look at the race. Obviously, it was a boycotted game, so we didn't see Walker, we didn't see Eamon Coughlin, we didn't see Thomas Fessinghager. Who else didn't we see that could have won it? Steve Scott. There were a few others, but so some of the best milers in the world were not there, that's true, but the best 2 milers in the world were there, and by some distance, because none of those athletes over a mile or 1500 meters had got close to beating either Coe or Ovett. So the fact that it was a boycotted games, in a way, didn't really affect the middle distance races too much. But it would have been interesting to see how things would have played out. But anyway, we got the races we got. The main thing is Coe and Ovett were there and they had to face each other. So let's see what happened in the 1500.
To watch there.
So
We are watching the Dutch commentator in full flow, and the box not 2 to my left.
it was a very hot day that day, I remember.
Check on the lineup, just out of sight on the inside.
It can get very hot in Russia in the summer. I've been to Russia. I was amazed at how hot it can get in the summer. I was in St. Petersburg, and absolutely blazing hot heat when it's a really hot day. So
1500 meters Olympic final. It's Straub on the inside, going away and holding the curb. Sebastian Coe comes across from the outside, and Steve Ovett tracking Sebastian Coe. And again, it is a reluctant pace.
I think probably once the race got going, Coe's nerves disappeared.
Just putting a bit of pressure on the outside. Marigeau is third, Ovett in 4th place, and he's watching Coe like a hawk. Just tracking Coe all the way.
So we know at this stage it's going to be tactical.
The fast men, as we suspected in the closing stages. No one wants to sacrifice the chance of a medal. There's no front runner involved in this race at all. They're coming round now to the spot where they finish in 3 laps.
Coe is going to rely on his finishing speed. Obviously, that's what he's thinking here. He's gambling that his kick is going to be better than Ovett's kick.
Steve Ovett now back in 6th. And right at the back at the moment, Joe Platchy of Czechoslovakia. Coming up to complete the first lap.
But if you think that Coe was in really good form, really, in 1980. He was at his peak, absolute peak. You know, as long as he didn't run a foolish race, you would have to back him to run an absolutely blistering last lap, as long as nobody got in his way. And it would then just be a case of whether Ovett could match him. It's still slow at this stage. Steve Cram is there, of course. This is before Cram really became a top-class international, you know, I mean, elite-class international miler.
And the three Britons together, 2, 3 and 4. Boxed on the curb.
I think Coe would be ready there to cover anybody's move. If somebody made a break for it, you know, he would go with them at this point, I think. And I think this is just about... Look at that time at 800 metres, 2:05. That Straub's really gone. I believe that he had a game plan beforehand and he was going to go flat out at this point. Try and run the finish out of the two Brits. Look, he's got 2 meters on Coe there.
And they're stretching out now. There's about 10, 12 metres between first and last, and Stevie Cram has lost his place and is 3 from the back.
Stevie Cram.
Third, following the East Germans' pace as they come to the bell. East Germany 1, Britain 2 and 3, East Germany 4, Italy 5, France 6, Great Britain 7, Yugoslavia 8, Czechoslovakia.
It's a long, long drive. I wonder how Cram at his best, because Cram was famous for a long drive from home, but this is... Straub has done superbly well. Look how he's strung them out. Coe's hurting. I mean, look at his teeth there. He's showing his teeth. Now you would think that Ovett here would be in a good position. He's actually a metre behind. I knew at this point when I was watching it that Coe was going to win. There was no way that Coe was going to lose from here. What did amaze me, to be honest with you, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when I was watching this in 1980, coming up for that top bend, when Coe went past Straub, and I realised that Ovett was not really kind of reacting. I was expecting Ovett to be on his shoulder. I mean, absolutely on his shoulder. I could tell. I just knew that Coe had won it. Once he went past Straub, I thought nothing's going to stop him unless he trips. As long as he keeps going. Once I knew Coe was going to win, I was then watching Ovett, and I was stunned in a way that Ovett did not go past Straub. Still to this day, I don't know how Straub managed to split Coe and Ovett. Okay, I know there's been a lot about you know, the Stasi files. You know, I think Straub might have been one of the names on it. Might have been part of a, you know, doping and everything. I don't know. I mean, Straub ran way out of this world compared with really anything he'd ever done before. I know that he's a 3:33 1500 man, which was pretty good for those days. Fairly good. 3:33.7, I think. So only like 1.5 seconds slower than Coe and Ovett. But still, you know, he did run absolutely out of his skin that day. I mean, to beat Steve Ovett was just absolutely unbelievable. And if you look at Ovett's splits, I mean, his splits were phenomenal as well. I mean, Coe's last 100 meters was like 12.1. Ovett's splits were also... Ovett had never really faced that kind of pace before. I think that he was, you know, he was in, he was in, you know, like the race of the century with an absolutely formidable opponent. So, well, that's it really. I've got nothing more to say about that. Coe came back. He preserved his pride and he won the gold medal, and he won again in 4 years' time. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back with another video.